Good morning. Can you guys hear me? Can I get a thumbs up if you guys can hear me?
I can hear.
Like the little symbol thumb up. Come on. Did you could? If you guys can turn on your videos, that would be awesome. I don't see that. Chief. Oh. Yeah, thanks.
Are you the host, Bryan? Or did you claim the host?
Is that 667? No, it's not.
For the host key, it's 667 something something.
I got it somewhere.
I want to say 667-021.
It's like the last thing I text Mike Bruce. So. It's literally the last. I don't have to like open it up.
Nobody? I will.
Yeah, I think so.
Y'all have fun?
It looks like, I mean, people just got out of that, and some people are joining on this. Oh, wow, that's weird. How do I do that? All right, this is gonna be some technical difficulties for sure. That's jumping around like crazy. Which means this is. All right, guys, sorry, we're trying to figure out, if you guys can hear me, we're trying to figure out how you guys can hear me a little bit better. System. They can hear me. I don't know. See, like over on yours, like myself, sometimes it looks super slow. Maybe because of this. Figure it out. Hear me okay? Give me a weird message on my end. System resources. Audio quality. All right, can you guys hear me better or worse now? Or at all?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, cool. All right, perfect. All right, we are going to do this, and we have a couple students here. Time to spin you guys around. Really weird message on my end. Okay, I'm just gonna roll with it. Does everyone have their packet or Spark? Powerful language gets results with you guys. I get a little thumbs up. If you guys can turn on your screens, that would help dramatically. Awesome, thank you, Ursula. You need one? We'll give it another minute and then we'll get started. Good, how are you? Why, okay.
I'm actually pretty good.
Okay. We'll talk later. Depends on participation. What's that? Okay.
This is Eddie, gonna join you for a night.
What's up, man?
Sorry, I said Eddie. Wait, what is it?
So weird not to hear people. All right. Does anyone know what the importance of this class is? You guys?
Get started.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So the most important part about language and how we talk to people is obviously grow your business and help run your business. We'll focus today pretty much on lead generation for buyers and sellers, making sellers listings, presentations and getting listings, making buyer presentations and getting them signed. Preview real estate. We'll also talk about and how we use language to help us preview that, and I have some tips for that. Show buyers houses, negotiate contracts, and transaction management to close, right? The way we talk to people can really dictate their expectations and what they think of the whole process. So if we handle a lot of things up front, then it eliminates a lot of stress. I think when I first started in this business, every transaction was so stressful, and I have it so well setting expectations now that it feels like every transaction is smooth. And honestly, they probably aren't. I've just gotten used to like how to manage expectations and manage my clients' emotions and so forth, and other agents. So if you guys turn to page 5. The basic reason for learning scripts is to make things a lot easier, right? You hear Justin and other people talk about every time you walk, or even Art, when you walk into a store, they go, hey, can I help you with anything? That might be a 2-sentence script, but it's a script, right? And as you're walking around, if they see you getting curious about certain things, especially in higher end stores, they want to help you more because it could potentially produce more sales. Your situation is the same thing. And I'm a big component, mostly because of Art, in making everything a question. If I ask them a question, this works in everything in life. If you ask a question, whether they tell you the truth or not, they're answering it correctly in their head. If you ask a question, you should probably know the answer to it. So with that, it helps you with lead generation, uncover motivations, identify objections, close deals, speak in terms the customer can understand. I'll accidentally say, oh yeah, it's on the MLS or something like that. They have no idea what MLS is. They have no idea what DTI is. They have no idea what all these things mean. So when you talk to clients, always treat it like you're teaching them a new subject. It helps build confidence too. When you control the conversation by using purposeful language that helps you get to the end point, it closes a transaction. Scripts help to uncover motivation from buyers and sellers and identify any objections so you can handle them up front. Is there any random objections that you guys get that you guys see over and over again? Feel free to put it in the chat. You guys can actually just say it. What's the objection you've gotten last week?
I was at an open house and I get a lot of like, are you working with an agent? No, like, yes. A lot of the time people will do that, no, but like they're a good friend.
Okay. You're like, awesome. So a great way. So what she said was she was on an open house for you guys that can't hear. She was on an open house and a common thing that she gets is, oh, hey, are you working with the agent? Say yes. Are they signed? Well, no, they're a great friend. Right? Be like, awesome. I totally respect that. I love working with my friends too. Is there a time that I can sit down and talk to you about the values that I represent? And they might say no still, right? But people typically say no 5 times before they give you a yes. Right? And what value is their friend producing versus you? So maybe ask them straight up about their friend. Ask them a question. Be like, oh, that's awesome that your friend's a realtor. What sets them apart? I bet you they won't know what to say at all. And they'll kind of stumble, be like, oh, that's awesome. And then let them look around the house and come out and be like, hey, I'd love to get a chance to sit down with you guys and chat a little bit more about how I run my business. It helps a lot. Any other ones? What's an objection you get? Yeah.
I mean, right now, it's mostly just like, the market is too competitive, I can never afford the thing. We wait until next year. July.
You want to wait until next year because you think it's too expensive? Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Awesome. I can totally understand that. It does seem a little overbearing. If we're able to find you your house that's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath at this price point, would you be willing to make an offer today?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. Are you also willing to, if we go look at 3 houses, are you willing to make an offer on one of those 3 houses? Even if it's not the perfect house, but at least make an offer at what you think it's worth? Are you willing to do that?
If it can stay within my budget, yes.
Yeah, we'll make the offer for what you think it's justified for, right?
But yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Let's pick out some 3 and let's go look on Thursday. Right? People are scared of a lot of things. Usually when people come to us for help, I'm going a little off script here, but when they come to us for help, what are they really worried about? If they're a buyer, they're worried that they're not approved and can't. How hard is it to get someone approved? It's like, it takes forever for them to get their documents in, right? Because they're afraid of what the answer is. Even if they're highly qualified, they're still afraid. I have luxury clients that are still afraid to go to send in all the paperwork. And they're looking at like $1.3 million houses, you know, like, but to get all those documents in can be scary, right? So you just have to ease their mind. You just have to figure out what is really worrying them. And it's always common things. When you go to listing, it's almost always money. And they almost always want to make sure you're the right person that's going to take them through their biggest transaction. It's a stressful thing. So as long as you figure that out. I personally ask a lot of questions. I sit there and try to figure out more about them as I'm going through. And the more I can relate to them, the more likely I am to be able to move forward. So if you guys look on page 6.
Question on that last one before we go, sorry.
Yeah.
What if they bring out, I don't know if this is allowed or not, but there's a possibility the market's gonna shift, interest rates are gonna go up. So what if they come at you saying, hey, I don't wanna buy it right now because, I mean, I'm just asking for allowed to do this. They're like, well, I can't afford it right now because, you know, blah, 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 it's at this price. I'm gonna wait until the housing goes down. Or it would be like, well, if the housing does go down, there's a possibility that the interest is gonna go up. So even though the dollar amount looks less now, with the interest applied to it at a higher interest rate, we're still gonna be trying to do the same.
How would you turn that into a question?
Huh?
How would you turn that into a question for that?
No, I'm
So,
saying-
so what he said for you guys online, he said, what if someone says they want to wait because they want to wait until the market goes down? And we want to bring up the fact that if the market goes down, most likely interest rates will be coming up. And I would just straight up ask, go, that's amazing. Always validate what they said. Even if you disagree, validate, because they have a point that they're trying to make. If you don't validate them, you're in an argument. So be like, I totally get what you're trying to say. You are obviously trying to maximize the most money possible for you and your family, correct? You can literally use that one sentence for almost every objection. I get what you're trying to say. You are trying to maximize the most money possible for your purchase or sale. That's what everyone's trying to do, right? So just agreeing with them, be like, and they're gonna be like, yeah, you know, we're afraid that the market's too crazy. Be like, or the market's gonna crash and we don't want to be upside down and this and that. And then I'll ask them, I'll be like, do you think that when the market goes down, interest rates are gonna go up? So a house that's at 500,000 right now, say the monthly payment is whatever, 2,500 or something. I have no idea, whatever their down payment is or whatever it is. When the interest rates go up, that same house is gonna be 3,000. Right? So their monthly payment's gonna go up. And when I talk to them, I go, what are you really afraid of? If you could get a loan today for $1 million house and only have to pay $1,000, would you go do it? $1,000 a month? And they'll be like, yeah, of course, I'd buy 5, right? Or make some kind of joke, be like, yeah, exactly. So people and banks really loan based off of what you can afford monthly. Is that gonna change now or later? Do you think the monthly payments can be more expensive now or later? And if the market goes down, do you think they're gonna be highly likely to be giving out loans this season?
That's a good question.
So when's the best time to buy or to plant a tree? 20 years ago. Second best time is now. So it's just that simple. Those are all scripted things I've just learned to say, mostly from listening to Art and Justin all the time. So on page 6, I believe it's page 6 for you guys too. I should be turning with you guys.
No, thanks for that.
Oh, you guys got it. It's totally different. Nope, it's not page 6 for you guys. Okay, sorry. I'll try and stay on your guys's. Apologize for that. Glad I looked. All right. We'll get to that in a second. A common script you guys see is that you hear is, did you find everything you were looking for? Or go ahead and look around and please let me know if I can help you. I see you admire this big screen TV. Are you looking to get one for the big game this weekend? Those are all scripts that you hear all the time. It doesn't have to be crazy scripts. Sometimes the easiest things are possible. Let's talk about some limited beliefs, which brings you guys to page 4. Apologize for that. I was jumping ahead.
Page 4.
Page 4 for you guys. What are limited beliefs, right? And how can limited beliefs hold you back from achieving what you want? Remember, the limited belief when you sit with a client is that they're going to reject you in some kind of way, but they're looking at you for leadership. Even if they want to take control of the situation, that's fine. They still want you to guide them to help them make good decisions. It's however you word it, that's what they're looking for. They're hiring us to make a huge decision. So with that, let's take a little bit of time. If you guys could write down some limited beliefs and start doing activity on page 4. And then let me know what you guys come up with. You guys can put some chats in the chat box. And I do want to mention how you guys participate in here is how you participate out there, right? And there's 3 kinds of students. And I've been all 3. There's a prisoner, the person that's there and doesn't know why they're there and why they have to be there, but they feel like they have to be. The second is a vacation. Instead of doing lead gen, they're there to just learn a class. Day in a class is better than a day of lead gen. And then there's the third, which is the explorer. So I would love for you guys to be the explorer, ask questions, participate, and you'll get a ton out of it. Give you guys about 2 minutes. I'm gonna start sharing my screen too for you guys. We'll go through that. There's all sorts of materials for it in KWU. You can go to kw.connect or connect up to KW. I'll look it up in a second. There's probably somewhere in here. It's probably has the actual website. And there's all sorts. There's hours and hours of videos and hours of things to go over.
So, yeah, that's what's been, I haven't made phone calls. I mean, I've done this before in the past for a friend.
I don't know what I'm doing with this computer because mine just froze. All right. All right, Kendra, good question. Good objection. Is that your limited belief that you don't believe that you're confident enough to handle the transaction, or is that theirs? Kendra, is that yours or their opinion that you're not confident enough to handle the transaction? Is that your limited belief? Okay, perfect. So you answer your own question, right? A great way to gain confidence is to remember, it's the same thing with this class, is this class isn't about me, right? It's about you guys. So if I focus on you guys, then it takes away all the pressure off of me, right? I need to ask questions, figure out what they really want. If I just focus on asking them questions, person that asks questions controls the conversation. So if I'm asking, if I walk in and they start drilling me on things, I can just be like, hey, let's slow down. Let's figure out what you guys really want in your goals and dreams. A thing that I do is I have a questionnaire and it usually gets me through things. I've made up a questionnaire of things that I want to know, right? So I'll ask people if they're a seller, a buyer, I'll ask them general questions. I'll ask them about their house, even if I know the answers. I go, hey, it's gonna seem silly to go through this, but once I start asking those questions, they get used to just kind of answering. It gives me kind of control, right? And it lets me have a clipboard in hand. And, you know, it's amazing. I used to do a lot of stuff with flips and walking around with a shirt with a logo on it and a clipboard. You can walk into any building in the world. They'll just like let you in. It's so silly. I've walked on construction sites I'm not supposed to be on. But with that, if you have some questions right now, or if you just ask them general questions, if you generally care and say like, hey, because you need to care, you're dealing with the transaction. If you know their big why, we talk about that a lot in Keller Williams. It's a big why. It's not just your big why. You know your client's big why. Why are they getting into a house? Why are they wanting to move into somewhere? Is it just their first step, or are they looking at their next step? The best ones are the ones that are looking for their next step. If they're a buyer, if they're selling a house, I have a client looking to sell a place because they had it as a rental, and they don't want. They're getting to the point where they're going to have to pay capital gains. We'll be listing it this weekend. They want to sell it, get the money out of it, and then they have another business that they want to start, right? And then I can ask them about that business, but they have experience with renting and with fixing stuff. So I know if I see a good deal in the future, I can bring that back to them, right? I'm mentally and physically writing down what they say is their goals and dreams, because this won't just help you with the immediate sale, they'll help you with sales from then on. I can't even go to the chat and figure out this. I need to work on credit. Then I'll meet with you. The credit one is super easy. Send them to Andrew. I don't know if you guys were in that class on Friday, but my buddy Andrew used to own a credit fix company. He now is a lender. He'll fix their credit for free. He's worked on my credit, stuff like that. But there's all sorts of partners. When they say that they need to work on credit, and I'll meet with you, be like, awesome, are you working with someone? And then they'll be like, well, no, I just kind of like watch this YouTube video or that, or I have a credit fix person, and then be like, hey, be careful. A lot of those credit fix people, I have a guy that used to own a credit fix company. He does it for free for his clients. We've been warned that a lot of them just take your money, but don't fix the right things because they make money off of that $100 payment a month, that residual income. So be really careful of that. That'll make them be like, oh shit, I didn't think about that. And they'll be like, okay, when can I talk to them? You'll also figure out really fast if they are, what kind of client they are, whether they're ready to move, whether they need some nurturing, or whether they're super cold. I have in opportunities, I have them as hot, warm, cold, and it just depends on where I think they're at. In any time frame that someone tells you, you can cut in half. That's great one though. People say that all the time, and that's also why I've used Andrew. And now that he's a lender, which is amazing, I just send him to him, and he'll tell me like, hey, they're not getting back to me. That's fine. I did my part. I'm gonna follow up with them once a month, and he is too. I always feel like I'm bothering them when I'm cold calling. Okay, are you cold calling? Question: are you cold calling your sphere, or are you cold calling someone that's like a FSBO expired or something like that? Because that's a big difference. Laura. FSBO. Okay, well, they're already trying to sell their house, so you can already do it better for them. So that's a huge win. FSBOs in this market are a little crazy. So our expires are pretty tough to do in this market, but I've made a lot of money on FSBOs and expires. I had FSBOs for sale by owner. Sorry, I should have clarified that. Right, there's another example of how we talk and think everyone understands, right? So I had a for sale by owner. I printed up the listing presentation. I've never actually gone through, at that point, I had not gone through the listing presentation. I had no idea what I just printed up. I walked in, I started asking her about her goals and dreams, and asking her questions. It was a $1.2 million house. I thought she wanted to price it for a whole lot more. I thought it was overpriced. So I go, hey, why don't we go check out your competition? She was like, what? So we drove around. First of all, at this time, I had a $500 Honda Civic that the windows and some of the doors couldn't open. So I borrowed a car, and I took her and drove her around and went to some of the competitive properties. She then was like, you're right, it's not worth 3.5, it's probably like 2.5. I thought it was 2, whatever. Ended up getting listed, stayed on the market for a little while, eventually sold. I ended up working both sides and made $48,000 on a FSBO. I never once opened up that packet for presentation. And she was like, before I was like trying to open up my computer to show her even like contracts, she was like, hey, let's go ahead and go over those contracts. And I'm okay with giving you 6% as long as the buyer gets 3%. I was like, yeah, that's fine. And she goes, you'll lower your rate too if like you have both sides, right? And I didn't even know at that time I could do it. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, I was stoked. But I asked questions. I let her talk the whole time, right? Like, I didn't know, she doesn't even know anything about me. She knew nothing about me. Like, she knew I had a dog. That's about it.
She knew the type of dog.
She knew German Shepherds. She had Shepherds too, so we started talking about it. All right. All right, you guys can't really partner up, and I don't know how to sync you guys. I can't even get back to my main screen. So, goals and dreams. That should be a goal and dream at least once a year for you guys. So, let's move on to page 5 in your guys' book. Look at the question 2 on page 5. It's saying exactly what I'm talking about. What are some things that you can do in a conversation to show the other party that you're truly listening? Guys, give me some examples.
Repeat something they said, nod your head.
Go for it.
No, you're good.
I'm coming back. Sid,
I contact.
eye contact.
Sometimes you repeat what they say.
So,
For me to repeat it.
yeah,
I just said, yeah, like lean into the conversation and then relay something that they said.
Ruben, I know you.
Validate,
So I got it.
validate whatever they said.
Yeah, mimic their movement. Perfect. Yeah, if they lean, if they have their hands crossed, you can cross their hands. You want to, there's a great book. There's 2 great books that you guys should look at. One is by, why did I just blank his name? Some dude that's awesome, that's in the FBI. It's called Never Split the Difference. It's actually a great book to listen to. It's pretty entertaining. Another one, which is Art's favorite. If you guys ever hung around Art Vasquez, our productivity coach, he can sell you something without you even knowing you got sold. And then you're walking away with something that you didn't know you just paid way too much for. Like, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. But his favorite book ever is, it's a long sentence. So it's How I Brought Myself from Failure to Success in Selling by Frank Bettger. He even tells you how to remember people's names in that book. Like, I bet you won't this and that, or bet you won't use another life insurance policy. Bet your life on Bettger and all this stuff. He has these crazy little slogans that help people remember his name. And but incredible books. Both those books talk about mimicking, mirroring, and asking questions. So talked about those. What do you guys think? I'm gonna try and go on to the next page if I can. Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys, I'm having some technical difficulties here. I'm stuck on the screen too. What are some 3 negative consequences of failing to learn just some basic scripts?
You'll stutter.
Stutter?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
I think it can make you like not as good of a listener because you can't anticipate objections as well. So,
Makes you not as good of a listener.
yeah, and it can be stressful because you're just like thinking about, well, what are you gonna say, what are you gonna say, and you kind of role play out to anticipate what they might ask or object to.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
then you're not actually seeing the focusing on something else.
Yeah, you're focusing on something else instead of what they're actually going to say. And their objections are really important to listen to, right? Their objections are things that are bothering them. A no is usually not a no, it's just them telling you what they're worried about. So it's really about overcoming those things. What's another negative consequence of failing to learn scripts? We'll do one more.
You could tell that you're not confident.
Confidence. How can, we just mentioned how you could gain confidence. How can you gain confidence back?
If you know your stuff, if you know your scripts.
Know your scripts, ask questions. Most scripts end in a question. So I'm gonna go to the next page, which is page 7 for you guys. If I can, if you guys are seeing that on the screen. The first sentence of the script, read out loud 5 times. Repeat the same sentence 5 times. The second line of the script, read out loud 10 times. The script, say the script from memory. Recite the first 2 sentences 10 times with a smile. The script by adding 1 sentence at a time, repeat 10 times. Me and I know Ruben and possibly some other people on this are part of another coaching program outside of Keller Williams, where we practice scripts for 30 minutes. Monday, well, I missed Monday because Monday morning stand-ups, but Monday through Thursday. So I get 30 minutes of script practice with strangers from all over the United States every single day for 30 minutes. It's dramatic. Like, you guys should talk to each other and figure out when you guys can go over basic scripts. And the best thing you can do is call and not chit chat, because you're going to want to chit chat because you're nervous about doing scripts. I've done it. I used to do script practice with Sean Ewers, and I was the one procrastinating to the point where he fired me as a script partner. Right? I was like, "Hey, what's going on? How's your day? You want to hear about my, like, whatever?" Like, he would go straight into scripts, and it was smart. You don't waste time, and you take that nervousness that you feel when you're making that phone call to call your friend to script practice. That's probably close to the equivalent of nervousness you're going to feel when you're in front of someone. But the best thing about these scripts, it's not that. Here's the thing about scripts: we eventually internalize them and we make them our own, but we need the basic guideline for what all of them are. So, communication, cool. All right, if you guys go over to page 8. One second. I'm really screwing up with this. There we go. All right, apologize, guys. I'm lucky if I can turn on a light switch, which when we get to command classes, I'll show you guys how I got awesome at command. So pick any script, and I don't know if they sent you guys scripts, because I don't think they did. What's that? Oh, no. Pick a script, pick a partner, practice the 6 steps. So this is gonna be really hard to do. So Ruben, I know you know some of the same scripts I do. You wanna work on one of these with me? Ruben, you still on there? Might have lost it. Well, we're gonna do a FSBO script. Let's say that I'm sitting at the table and they're like, "Hey, I can sell this myself. It's a hot market, this and that." And I'll just say, "Well, let me give you an example of what would make importance to hire an agent, whether me or someone else," right? And I always leave it open, because by the end of the conversation, they're gonna want to sign with me anyways. But I want to leave it open that they don't feel pressured that I'm trying to sell them just on me. I'll give what I call the banana script, right? I'll go, "Hey, think about it this way. When you go buy a bundle of bananas, whether you go to a gas station or Whole Foods, which one do you think is going to be more expensive?"
Yes.
Why is that?
Everything's so expensive.
Let's say a regular store versus a Whole Foods.
Regular store versus the Whole Foods, or the Whole Foods, because the Whole Foods most likely is they're gonna have that more holes, so we're held there, so we're charging.
So Whole Foods gives a perspective that has more value, correct? Even though they're same bananas, right? Awesome, totally agree. Let's break that down. So let's say we go into, a Whole Foods. What is really setting them apart? They have market exposure, the same bananas. They have market exposure. They're reaching more people, and they have a perceived notion that it's worth more money. That's the difference between someone trying to sell their house themselves or putting it on the market with a real estate agent. There's going to be more marketing. there's gonna be perceived value, and there's gonna be tons more exposure, right? I don't know if I just said that or not, but yeah, tons more exposure. So with that said, do you want to be the house that's sitting, the bananas that's sitting in the grocery store, or you want to get the perceived value of more? They're going to be perceived value of more, but in this market, it's this and that. I'll be like, you also got to think that people that look at foreclosures, or not foreclosures, sorry, for sale by owners, are typically assuming that they can get a deal from it because they have one less realtor. So the same reason you think that you're getting a deal, they think they're getting a deal. And they see it as not, it doesn't have that much exposure, so they can get a better deal on it. Are you trying to get people coming in that are trying to get a good deal from you, or people that are trying to bid up on you? And they're going to be like, people bidding up. Be like, awesome. Now let's sit down and talk about what we can do to get your house on the market today. It's plain and simple. It's giving them some kind of analogy that makes them realize that they have more value with you. Ruben, how did I do on that script? Oh, I do have the wrong Ruben. All right. I can't see you guys' faces right now. Gonna wrap up pretty quick. Can't really do that. All right, let's recap and go over some ahas. And I'll figure out how I can get you guys some scripts. And next Monday, I'm teaching a class as well. I'll make sure I have some for you guys. How has thinking changed? How has your thinking changed? And what ideas and mindsets are new now versus when you first walked into this class?
I don't know about new, but just reiterating the importance of really asking questions and getting them to talk more. Because I can just be like, so,
Reiterating that you need
Yeah,
them to
no.
talk more than you, yeah. I'm a talker, and I know that when I go to certain appointments, I am really bad at over talking. So I've learned to not have any kind of caffeine before. But I also make my care calls. So I work primarily off my sphere and referrals. And I call about 20 people a day and touch them on top of birthdays. I'm really big on birthdays. It's really easy to call someone on their birthday and have an excuse to call them. Jamie Gabb, that's on Bring Home Denver. I asked him how he's on a team and a buyer's agent. And I was talking to him one day. I ran into him. I go, how's business going? He goes, oh man, I got like 8 people under contract, another 8 looking right now. And he goes, but I have family in town. So I told him all I had the weekend off. I was like, that's crazy. Like, how are you getting all this business? He goes, I call people and wish them happy birthday. It's like all he said. I was like, from that moment on, I got into smart plans, got a birthday plan going. Now I send out birthday cards and brownies to people that I know that own houses. And I've already closed 1 deal this year from brownies and birthdays. And from a care call, just calling someone and be like, hey, you know, how are things going? How's your family? I had talked to this guy in a year or probably longer, this and that. He goes, man, I live kind of by you. Let's get lunch. So we went and got lunch. And then he called me a week later. I was like, hey, I think I want to list, my girlfriend wants to list her place up in Longmont. And that's why I'm listing this week. It's just like, just by calling and saying hi. Remember that you don't have to be to everyone you call. If you're calling strangers, they need to know why you're calling. Everyone else, you just need to call and say hi and send love. Like, I love giving gifts. Like, I don't know. I'm also a big hugger, which is not very good during COVID, but nonetheless, like, I like to send love and calling people on their birthday. I called people this morning on my way back from hiking, and I called 4 people that are on my task and saying happy birthday in the car to them, which drove my dog crazy. And my voice is horrible, but they had a good kick out of it, right? And they're like, oh, you're so awesome, this and that. I'm like, yeah, so are you. I'm like, let's catch up soon. Whether you actually catch up with them soon or not, you are now on the top of their mind, which is huge. So don't always think that you have to sell everyone. Take away the seller mentality and think about, ask them what you can do for them and figure out how you can provide value. What do you feel is different, feel differently about And what was meaningful to you guys today, what we've gone over? Let's hear from some people on the World Wide Web.
It's hard to know sometimes what your limiting belief is, you know, but I really appreciated thinking about that. Like, what is the thing that could hold you back? It's just in your mind. It's not even real.
Yeah, did you guys hear that? So she said it's good to know what your limiting beliefs are and to know that like half the time when you doubt yourself, it's really just in your mind and not others, right? Super easy to do. Anyone else?
I think for me, being super sincere when actually calling your spare instead of, sounding super salesy.
Yeah, yeah. If you call your sphere, so here's a little thing. And I think Jose will go over this in database on Thursday. And honestly, if Jose, a lot of our ALC they're all my heroes. So like Felicia, she's super badass. We have so many amazing people on our ALC that I learned so much from. I'm selfishly on the ALC to learn from them. So if you guys look at your phone and realize that you have at least 100 contacts in that phone, statistically speaking, if you call all 100 of those people once a quarter and say hi to them, and just say hi and just shoot the shit with them, 6 to 8 of those people you'll generate a deal from. Right now, with how our market is, that's a 6-figure income. That's pretty awesome, right? So I had too many people in my database from bartending, and some people I didn't even know who they were. Like they had weird last names of what bar they worked for, what they looked like. I had one dude in there, his spiky hair, had 2 Courtney blondes. I had to figure out who the hell they were. But like once I figured them out in Command, I could link them to their Facebook and figure out who they were, see what's going on in their life. As Mike Bruce says all the time. Mike Bruce Facebook stalks the shit out of everyone he calls. And he had to make spreadsheets on what's going on in their life and what they like to do. So when he calls them, he has something in front of him to kind of talk about it. I broke mine down to the 800 people, which I learned from Art and Steven, which are my core people who know who I am and know what I do. I broke that down into, I want to call for 12 weeks. I want a week off in the quarter. I'm also a big fan of 12-week year. And I broke down into 12 weeks, and I wanted to call only 4 days a week. Mondays, I call people that are in my opportunities. I try and set more appointments. Thursday through Friday, I only have to call 17 people a day. Doesn't mean they have to answer. And when you first start calling people, let's all be honest. We're like, please don't answer, please don't answer, please don't answer. And then you get that first person and you get an awesome conversation. You're like, hell yeah, next person. Like you start feeling good about it. We got in this business because we like talking to people and dealing with people, right? So if that's a strength of yours, use it and call people and just say hi. And they'll be like, oh, where are you calling? Be like, hey, be honest with them. Be like, hey, I'm on a mission that ever since I got into real estate, I kind of stopped talking to everyone I know. So now I'm trying to call everyone once a quarter. I'm not perfect. I might only call you twice a year, but just know that I'm trying to get to you. That's already 10 times more than they're trying to do. And they're going to be like, that's so awesome. If they think it's weird, who cares? Who cares? That's one less person you call. You're filtering out. Sometimes the rejections and the bad things that we get from people are filtering them out. If someone tells you, oh, I need to fix my credit, this and that, they might not be able to buy for a while. I still put them in my database. I still put them in my opportunities. I still call them and try and push them along. But like Andrew said, people with bad credit and or with financial issues, it's kind of like an alcoholic. They have to admit they have a problem before they can get help. So you don't need to be their counselor. You can help them along the way and give them some encouragement, but you don't have to push them along. Every single person you talk to is just one step closer. Yeah, what's up?
You literally have to start contacting the phone.
In Command? Yeah. I used something called PySync. So I have all my contacts in my G Suites account or Google account, whatever. And then I connected G Suites to command and brought them all in. And then you can hire like a virtual assistant or something like that to go through and link. They'll have access to your Facebook and they'll link as many as possible. And then if you put as many birthdays on there as possible and go through there, like Facebook will tell you whose birthdays are coming up in the month. If you go through there and try and figure out whose birthdays they are, here's a birthday script. We're talking about scripts. So I'm gonna go a little into this for a second because I love birthdays. When you text someone, you know their birthday's coming up, you put them on a birthday smart plan. It tells you, Command's birthday smart plan tells you 6 days before their birthday, send them a birthday card, right? And you can send them a message. I have it saved in my clipboard on my phone that says, hey, this is Bryan Bernard. Do you care if I send you a birthday card? I don't say, hey, what's your address? I'm a dude. Some girls are definitely gonna get creeped out by that, and some dudes are gonna get creeped out by that. So I go, hey, do you care if I send you a birthday card? And sometimes I'll do it on Facebook so they can see my face come up if I haven't talked to them in a while, right? And sometimes I'll do both. Like I did both this month. I got tons of addresses. They'll send you their address. You can go on this little thing called Realist and figure out if they own or rent, put a tag on there. That changes in my mind whether they get a card or a card and a cookie. You know, if they own, they're getting a card and a cookie. If they go, hey, if they have mentioned at some point that they want to buy or sell, they're getting a cookie for sure, right? And if they're a good friend, they're getting brownies. If it's any kind of occasion, my mom has told me to stop sending her any other gift than the brownies that they have on hand cards. I'm only allowed to send her brownies for literally everything. I even had to send my stepdad brownies for Father's Day. She was like, we want those brownies and we expect them. So yeah, so it gets you to ask them for their address in a nice way, which you're data mining, your database, you're data mining, right? So gets them that, you can find out some information, you have their Facebook linked up, and then next time you go in there, if they own or rent, you can then be like, hey, I have some awesome information about how we can go from renting to owning. You have that information, so you know how to target them as a buyer. And if they own, be like, hey, I have this awesome program, HomeBot, or, you know, do you care if I get your email? I want you to see what you think of my email campaign. Can you give me an honest opinion? They're gonna call you back and tell you if it sucks or not, right? That's an excuse. Ask someone what their opinion is. Be like, hey, I'm kind of nervous about this thing I'm doing. Do you mind? I know you own. Can you tell me from your perspective? People always want to give their opinion. They love giving their opinions. So give them a chance to. And then when they help you, they feel invested in what you're doing. And then when their friends like, oh, I'm thinking about buying a house, you got to talk to my friend Bryan. He's awesome. We get these awesome emails from him. We helped him tweak this little thing on it, this and that. Like, you got to do it. I use HomeBot a lot, and I get a lot of success from it. So it's all those kinds of things. What's other kinds of scripts that we do that we don't ever talk about in Keller Williams, but Art talks about all the time? Social proof. I try and post something once a week about something going on in business, at least once a week. I don't like posting the videos of me hiking. I'll be honest. I can't stand doing that. I don't want anyone knowing what the hell I'm doing, especially since, yeah. But I do it because it gets engagement and people see that I'm being active and doing stuff. And then they opens up other conversations. So when I ask them what they've been doing, they'll be like, oh, I see you've been hiking a lot and this and that. They will immediately be like, I know I got them. They're following me. They're watching what I'm doing, whether they like your comments or not. Like, it's just one of those things. We really need Mike Bruce to teach a class on Facebook. He's a genius with it. Practice scripts to eliminate being nervous, 100%, and try and turn them into questions, because you don't matter. The answer doesn't matter. The question is. I was on a tangent. I was going to go through something else too. I forget what it is. This is great, to be honest. I'm going to take you guys off of that. Let's see if that gets it out. Oh, cool. I want you guys to do a quick little exercise that's not in here. I want you to come up with an objection that you get all the time that makes you super nervous. And I want you guys, when they say something or you feel that, a question you can ask that will eliminate that thing. get to it.
First one that comes to mind is, trying to get a listing and someone asking me, well, have you ever listed a property? This hasn't happened to me, and no, I haven't listed a property, but it's the shit out of me, because I'm like, what
I
am I
love that.
supposed to say?
I love that. So she just said, I'm going to go list a property, and she's afraid that they're gonna say, have you ever listed a property? Right, and we'll talk about this all the time. Are you part of Eva's group? How many houses do you think Eva sold?
How much she sold?
A lot, more than me, for sure. She crushes it. So lean on that. Be like, hey, you know what? You actually benefit from the fact that I'm in this coaching program, and you don't just get my eyes, you get over 100 years of experience in our office looking at your transaction. And also be like, you gonna find anyone else that's as passionate as me? You know, people like new agents, they still have spark. They do, right? Yeah, I mean, you're excited, like, I love doing listings, like, yeah, I mean, besides awesome money, but like, I like setting them up, I like getting them clean, I used to be super nervous about that. And I just picked up tricks. We go look at houses every single time. Also realize that your house that you list, even though they're walking through with other agents, if you do a badass job, are they gonna remember you? Is that agent gonna remember you? They're gonna be like, this is awesome. I put funny little things, like I put, are you ready, get ready to tumble on the washer and dryer if it's included. Get ready to tumble, washer and dryer included. I write the cheesiest shit all over the house. And it evokes emotion. And there's a script right there, right? And I'm just getting their appeal. Also, we have this amazing thing called profit share. So if that agent sees it and has questions about it, be like, oh, that's awesome, where do you learn that? Be like, I actually teach some classes in office, or I go to classes in our office, would you like to come to one? We have an open door policy for all agents. Are you officially in our office yet?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you are, okay, cool. So like, I was hoping to use you as an example. But yeah, so we have an open door policy. We let people in, and I had people during that credit fix class. I had 3 agents in here that were not part of our office, and we had several agents from another office too. We have an open door policy, and I don't think people realize the benefit of profit share. To put it in perspective, all you need to do, there's someone that has recruited 2 people. And both those people end up being like Justin's team leads. And now they make over $250,000 a year in profit share from it, like spreading down. I have currently 4 people in my profit share, 2 of which have people, 1 person under them. I make on average $200 a month on profit share. I already have, what's his name? Carlos Escobar puts all his money in an investment fund. He's pulled out a few times to do other bigger investments, but he has an investment portfolio. I think he said during I wasn't the last team meeting, but the one before that he has over 26,000 in it. I'm pretty sure he makes around 1,000, 2,000 a month on a profit share, if not more than that. And that's a low estimate.
What exactly is profit share?
That's it, you explain one more time.
Okay, so profit share is, so say someone brought you into this office, right?
Okay.
Who do you name as your sponsor? I asked you who your sponsor is. Who did you name?
I forget what her name was. It was like 2 seconds on the phone with her, and it came to talk to Justin like an hour. So her name was in and out, but it was somebody on Justin's.
So it might be Justin as your sponsor.
No, who wanted her to have.
Oh, okay, perfect. That's even better. Okay, that's a perfect example. So I'm training right now to do, and I should be ready by the end of the week, to help recruit for the office. I'm gonna start helping recruit for the office. On the growth committee, it's a big focus of mine. I want this office to grow in several ways. That's also why I'm so involved in classes. I want our office to be successful. I want everyone to be successful. There's plenty out there, right? And I want us to crush it. So with profit share, you had a sponsor. You had someone that you wrote as a person that brought you into the office, right? That person has someone. That person has someone. All the way down to 7. It only goes 7 down, right? But it can go as wide as possible. So I have 4 right now, right? With 2 going down. On average, it depends. You get money based off of what the office is profitable. I don't know if you guys know this, but we are not only the most profitable Keller Williams in the state, but in the region, and one of the better ones in the country. We are a highly profitable office. And we have a pretty, I mean, this office building is not cheap. So we do extremely well. We have some pretty high producing agents, but with our cap, that's what you pay for. You know, that 18,000, 3,000 it goes to the Keller Williams International. And then the other 18 or whatever it is that you've negotiated, mine's 18. So I have to, if you're on a team, it's usually have that. I pay that. And when you cap, you're done and all your things go to you. I had someone say that Keller Williams was expensive. I go, well, I've made it 100,000 every single year. That means that I'm only paying 21% and you're paying 25% on every single deal. So how does that equate? And then we have agents in our office that make $1 million. That's 2%. That's crazy, right? That's like nothing. So it's all perspective and mindset. So it also can weed out some people. If they're not involved in training and thinking about it that way, it changes the way they think, right? So with profit share, out of that amount of money that they cap on, it goes towards, that's how the office makes money, right? The owner splits his profit, about 50% of his profit with profit share. So there's a couple owners in the office, and then a big portion of that gets put back to the agents. So when I get profit share, I'm getting a portion of that cap every single time. I'm getting a portion of the profit of the office for that month. So every time someone in my downline closes a deal, I get a portion, not of their commission, but a portion of the profit of the office. It's pretty awesome. EXP tries to do it on revenue. It's I had a guy on Wall Street break it down for me, a guy that used to work on Wall Street. He works in our office, but I don't have his permission to say his name. But he broke it down for me. I was like, is this a better deal? He goes, it looks like it at first, but it's 100% Ponzi scheme because it's only off of revenue. So there's going to be a point where they don't have enough. That's why they changed it from money to shares. Now they're just expanding shares because they can divide them up. It's Ponzi scheme. It's got to bust at some point. So maybe it won't, but like Keller Williams tried to do that in the beginning and they changed it to profit. We're all about profit first, right? There's a book called Profit First. Gary Keller talks about the one thing. I'm definitely going on a tangent. And it's all about paying yourself first. Like I do my income. I get paid by GoCo Living. Checks that come into Keller Williams go to GoCo Living. It goes into GoCo Living's bank account. I get a salary from GoCo Living that pays my bills. And if I have a really profitable month, I can take owner draws. I do that for tax purposes. I'm not a tax advisor, so I'm not telling you guys that you guys should do it that way. That's the way I do it for tax reasons. I'm trying to qualify for a new house next year. I want to buy another property and rent the one I have now. And I know that I can't qualify. I've been doing my taxes. So I've been taking a way bigger salary. Instead of paying myself a couple grand, I'm paying, at least 5 to 6 a month. So it's all about figuring out your money and your finances, which I'm sure someone in our office will talk about. There's an amazing class. Keller Williams has some of the best classes, I swear. There's one called Profit Camp, and it blew my mind how it breaks down money. My goals now are set based off of that class. And I realized that me making 100,000 GCI was not me making $100,000 in income if I wanted to grow. And that's why I changed everything I did. I took that class, I started diving into command, doing command, taking these classes, teaching these classes. I teach these classes so I learn more. It's kind of selfish, but I get a lot from it. And then I started really diving in, made a schedule, started drinking the Kool-Aid and doing what they said, having a schedule the way they said. And I went from only having 13 clients in a year to now tonight I'll have 23. And by the end of this week, I'll have 25. And then so on and so forth. I already have enough under contract to make more than I did last year, which I've already stated that is in the 6 figures. I'm not saying that to impress you. I'm saying that to impress upon you that a lot of this stuff is really good. And it's like drinking from a fire hose though. You just need to take one bite at a time, right? Kaizen is a concept of good change. If you improve yourself 1% every day, in 100 days, where are you? 100% better, right? If I could just implement that with eating, then I would be super fit. but you know, one step at a time. That was a huge rant. But anyways, what I was saying about profit share, if you guys have people that you want to invite, bring them in. You can tell anyone on leadership, including myself, that you're bringing someone in from outside, and we can set up an appointment, and they will give you $50 for the referral. As long as they know that they're meeting for an appointment to check out the office and that they're licensed. That's it. So they'll give you $50 for every referral. I think that's pretty awesome. So bring them to me. I'm pretty passionate about it, but so is everyone else. So everyone's good on our team. Do you guys have any questions? Can I hear some ahas?
I got a couple of them, so.
What's an aha?
Just, yeah.
Can't be
asking
my best friend
questions.
without an
I
aha.
know. Yeah, just asking questions. Is really gonna, leave an impression on a buyer, so. As opposed to trying to sell them.
Yeah, asking questions will definitely leave a bigger impression than trying to sell them. Art Vasquez, you guys all know who he is. I've mentioned him several times. He's crazy badass. He has 65 rentals. He's building 10 $1.5 million properties in one neighborhood. He's working on getting another like 20 acres in another neighborhood. And then he has another 8 going on that are in the 650 to 750 range. And that's just some of his projects for this year. And he considers himself a small developer. He tells me all the time, you can judge a man by his questions, not by his answer. So he goes, ask the right questions. What are some other ahas that you guys have? Anyone from online? And then we'll get out of here.
Where is that Profit Camp on Keller Williams University?
Yes, Keller Williams University. Also stay posted for it. They usually do it in the beginning of the year. They usually do it in spring and fall. It's called Profit Camp. It does cost money. I think I can't remember what it was in between 50 and $100. But yeah, it was incredible. It broke down. There's so many resources on our KWU website. So much stuff. Like where you guys found these packets, you can probably find that as well.
Okay.
I'll try and dive deep in on Monday. I'm teaching a class. I'm teaching every Monday for the next 3 weeks. So I'll try and break it down.
Okay. Thank
If you guys could do me a favor, I gotta figure out how to do this again. I am trying to get certified to be a KWU instructor.
Did you start last week as well?
I was supposed to last Thursday, and I was in the presenter, KW class to do better at this, which I think I could have done a better job in this class, but you guys are learning with me.
Teamwork makes the dream work, baby.
Yeah. Let's see. If you guys go to, I'm gonna find it, KWU eval. If you guys put in your Google search KWU evaluation, it should come up with a link. I'll show you guys a link for KW course evaluation survey. If you guys could click on that, this is going to help me dramatically. I have to have 100 of these before I can move up. When it says event, you guys follow me? Event, you're going to click on Market Center. You're going to hit next. You guys are going to hit 5 stars. Course, you're going to scroll down. This is session 3. Ignite 2, session 3. When it says instructor's name, you're going to have to scroll all the way to the bottom and type my name in. As much as I want my name to be Dr. Awesome, it is actually Bryan Bernard. It's spelled as you guys see on the screen. B-R-Y. B-R-Y-A-N-B-E-R-N-A-R-D. And then if you guys could give me, you guys can put someone else's name if you're going to put less than a 5-star rating. But yeah, if you guys could give me a 5-star rating, that helps me dramatically. Yes. Wait, why? So once, just so you guys know, if you guys do that, for Steve and I are both trying to get certified with KW RI, which is Keller Williams Real Estate International. We're trying to become instructors with KW on a higher level. That way we can bring you guys different stuff, and I'll be able to teach things like Profit Camp and stuff like that. So there's only certain courses I'm allowed to teach as ALC. So we want to bring more to you guys because there's so much that we get that's only once or twice a year. That's regional stuff. And I really, really want to bring you guys stuff. Got it? Cool. Appreciate you guys. If you guys have any ahas or questions, throw them at me now. If not, I'll let you guys go. You guys
Thank
good?
you.
Come back Monday. I'll see you guys then. It'll be awesome. There is a class on Thursday, but I'm here Monday, so. Class on Thursday is supposed to be, you